guys doing? I actually just got in from day two, second semester clinicals. Um, it's an interesting experience. Well, let me explain it to you first. First semester, you go through pretty much somewhat of the hands-on learning process. You learn about G tubes and G tubes, which was actually a hose that, in layman's terms, goes down your throat and can feed you or um, take out any type of poison or anything inside your stomach. We learned about colonostomies. Some things are very interesting to learn. They're rather funny. Um, there's just so much trying to get my head wrapped around everything because today was a long day. Give me a second. All right, that's a little bit better. I had to throw some lights on here. Yeah, second semester. It's fun. We have tests coming up. GI farm, GI disorders, and the funny thing is, when it comes to second semester, any of those of you who plan on pursuing any type of LPN career, uh, besides the fact that the questions get harder, the tests definitely get harder. We went from 30 to 40 question tests to now I think it's 82 or 86. And for our program, it's broken down to on that test, it's a section on farm, um, pharmacology, the subject, whether it be VE or foundations. And then you also have a section on math, dosage, PEDS, which is pediatric meds. And this is all encompassed in your 80 some odd questions. So trust me, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to study. Um, and when they say this time it's only on chapter this, well, that chapter may be 40 some odd pages, not including the PowerPoint presentation, not including the homework you have to do, and drug cards, which are actually, if you ever have a drug book, drug cards actually show you the conjugations, the they will show you adverse reactions, um, dosage, patient teaching, uh, what the drug is actually for, what's the expected outcome. So there is quite a bit of information you have to put on these cards, and I wish I had one of mine, but I haven't had to worry about those as of right now because of what I happen to be assigned. But for the second day, I was actually assigned. We were in a facility, um, a geriatric facility. It was broken down to from team leaders to some of the individuals of the group were assigned individuals. Team leader is pretty much the one that will pretty much observe everyone to see if everything's getting done right and um, to see if they can add any critique. I don't think I had anything to worry about. As far as team, my partner was awesome because they were CNA level two, so we both pretty much equal playing field. So getting everything done, whipping everybody up, and getting everything done, and technically assessing, which you will learn if you're an LPN. An LPN cannot assess. Only an RN can assess, or a doctor can assess. But depending, there's like a thin line as far as assessment and then drawing conclusions. So pretty much it falls into, we find something, we verify what it is, let the RN know, and then the LPN, the RN takes action as far as what drug needs to be given or what needs to be given. Or, depending on your facility, you might say, look, I found uh, an open area on someone's coccyx. It measures uh, 1.4 centimeters by 2.2 centimeters. You let them know how deep it is, um, what type of fluid is coming, if any fluid at all. And you can say, well, I was just thinking about putting this X, Y, and Z cream on it. I don't want to mention any names because some things are per facility, and anyone out there would know that. Um, but it's pink. But you might want to put that on there, and leave it open so it could breathe, or you might want to put something on as a barrier cream. So that's how that works. But it was kind of a little bit more intense because now you're under the gun, where now you're actually more so doing on an LPN skill level, opposed to working as an aide and moving your way up, which is pretty much what first semester is. You're actually working as an aide. So anyone out there that's pretty much a CNA or CNA skill set, you're going to have a much better time as far as actually preparing and things like that. The hard part for you is going to be the meds, the assessment, the med cards, and terminology. So if you're pursuing anything like that and you happen to know anyone that's an LPN, get some cards, get some books, whatever they have. Look at the NCLEX book so you can understand the rationale behind the question, because you might have, for example, have a question of you come across an accident and you realize there's two individuals. One individual is screaming out, one individual is non-responsive. From what you can tell, they have blunt force trauma to the head due to the accident they made. It appears that they've been thrown from the vehicle. The one individual is screaming but grabbing their leg, and you can tell by the way they're grabbing their leg, they're pretty much applying pressure. The individual not breathing is breathing, but breathing shallow. What's the first thing that you do when you come on the scene? You might see a whole bunch of answers, but the answer is for you to make sure that the scene is safe before you even think about doing anything, because if something happens to you, then their chances are gone and you're dead. And that's just a rough example, just so you can understand. You see these people, everybody's screaming, everything's panicking, it looks like the world's going to end, but you have to make sure it's safe for you to approach, which is the bottom line. So it gives you a different understanding and a different mindset, so you can understand that and pass your NCLEX. So now, some of the guys out the group, they were passing meds. We had a couple G-tubes, and then we had regular oral meds to give, some insulin shots, so people had to do finger sticks and things like that. And anybody going through what I'm going through at the moment will understand. It depends on your instructor. Some instructors are a lot more approachable in the classroom and clinicals, opposed to just some in the classroom, and in the clinicals they drive you nuts. The instructor that we have is awesome, and she is not the type to scare the crap out of you or have you nervous and shaking to the point where you can't remember your name while you're doing these meds or popping the pills or measuring the liquids. So that was a good thing. But the guys that did the med pass today, they were rocked. Their head got knocked around a little bit, so they were nervous as hell. But all in all, it was actually a good day, which I'm actually surprised of, and I'm happy about. So going on to tomorrow, we have a test. So I really don't know when I'm going to be able to put another video up. There's a lot of changes going on, and everything's a lot more intense. So we will see, but I just wanted to update you guys on what's been going on so far. And I only got 4.5 months to go. 4. Who would have thunk that I would have even made it this far? But somebody up there is looking for me, and I want to thank all you guys for your support too and your questions. So if you have any questions for me, especially as far as any books or what you need to have, I'll try to point you in the right direction the best I can, because each area is different. I'm going for an LPN, as in Paul, Nancy, LPN, as far as what my accreditation will be. Some areas will be LVN, as in V as in violet, which is pretty much the same thing, but the terminology is different. One is practical, one's vocational. And depending on the state you're in, it may be labeled differently. There are quite a few things that you might want to make sure that you have for your clinicals. You definitely want to make sure that you have your scissors, pen light, you want to have at least a black, a red, a blue pen. You want to have, me personally, I always keep a pencil, one of those clicky pencils, not like this one, but one of those clicky pencils. Um, I have that. You want to make sure you have a clipboard, preferably probably one of those clipboards that open up so you could actually store your papers inside. If you could get one with a calculator on it, that's awesome because that's going to come in handy when you have to do um, peds and IV drip and calculate drip rate, things like that. Um, Stethoscope. Uh, I don't really like saying a specific brand, but I'm gonna tell you I know what works for me. I did get a Littman. Um, Mine was about 100, close to $100, a little bit more, and I got that on Amazon. That was good to go. It was a cardiac. It's the Cardiac 2. Mine's green. Um, so it works out. You want to make sure you definitely have a watch, something with a second hand so you can read it, um, and you want to be able to take pulses, especially if you listen to a regular, if you listen to heartbeats or a pulse and something's irregular, you want to do it for the full minute. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of times in clinicals, they say listen for the full minute, where like if you're at a doctor's office, they'll watch your pulse for 15 seconds and then times that by 4, just to round up for the minute. So, it's just, it just all depends, but I advise you to do it by a minute first. Um, Make sure you have some of those items, and they'll tell you. But if you really plan on going to school and go ahead and pass the test, just get your little stuff little by little, so that way it's not something that drives you nuts and is overwhelming right before you step into your first round of clinicals. Just want to show you what I got through the school. Some people didn't like, it, but I do, because when you have a lot of things going on, you got to stop things in your life to learn how to save someone else's. So I kind of found that rule applied. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope anything I said at all was valuable to a certain extent. And like I said, I'm doing it so that way I could prepare. So if there is any type of injuries with anyone that I care for, if something happens, I can assess and work out, work them up until we can get further treatment that's out of my skill of practice, or hopefully by then it will be part of my skill of practice, so I'll be able to help them out as well. And another thing I do plan on doing, a friend of mine, Shane, actually, shout out to Shane, thank you very much. She has a homesteading group. I forgot the name off the top of my head, I'm sorry. She pointed me in the direction of going to or look into CERT training, CERT, which was I forgot, Civilian Emergency Response Training, I want to say, maybe, but it's more so civilians who learn how to do like search and rescue in case of emergencies. Civilians will go out and assist FEMA and things like that. I figure why not? It'll be another skill set to learn. You never know when something like that could come in handy, and with the way that the world's working, you can't hate on it, so, and you're volunteering. So, but they teach you the skills and they give you the tools that you'll need to do something like that. So that'll work right into my ham radio and certifications and nursing, and so I figure, things like that are something that I need to do. So, but that's what I'm looking into sometime soon. So thank you, Shane. Appreciate the info on that. And everybody else, I hope you guys are all safe. I know some areas got knocked out due to the winter. Everything's tapering off for us, but I hope everyone else out there is doing well. And hope you guys stay safe, and I'll try to get some more videos on here soon. All right? Have a nice one.